Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Saturday. It's Daryl here. It's 8:30 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. And you can see I just got back from a 5-mile hike around town. Okay, after reviewing my last video, I kind of rambled a little bit, and I neglected to make my point of the video. I have several solid points to draw a very solid relationship between people that believe in the flat earth, flurfs as they're called, and Trump supporters. And I'm going to do that in my next video. Okay, so I'm going to put a finer point on that argument. And believe me, I've got about 5 or 6 solid arguments to draw correlations between the Trump supporter and the flat earth believer. That's my next video. For now, I want to talk about something serious. This is going to be one of those videos where I'm talking straight from my heart, and I'm kind of hesitant to make these videos because they're personal. I'm telling you guys about a very personal situation in my life, and I got to be careful. I walk a thin line. I don't want to betray the trust and confidence of my family and use them in any way, shape, or form. And the idea that I know, I've come to learn this through 14 years of recovery, that people are very similar. We think that we're unique in a lot of the problems and issues that we suffer. And like once I sat down in the rooms in NA, I realized that my problems are exactly similar to everybody else's. And that's why I bring these up, because I'm sure that my situation is probably identical to a good portion of the people watching this video. All right, so let's get right into it. Bo made a couple of videos, Bo of the Fifth Column, talking about friends and family and dealing in the future with how do you deal? How do you kind of try to reconnect with family that's, they're Trump supporters? And I put a comment on that video, and I was very forthcoming and honest, and sometimes I am too much. I worry that I put too much personal information out there. This is one of the fallbacks of being in recovery. A lot of times I feel that my life's an open book, so I talk about everything and anything because that's how I've gotten into recovery, and I think sometimes I put too much personal information out there. But anyway, let's get into this. I have a very small family. We're very close. I have a sibling and my parents. One of my parents, a step parent, is not a Trump supporter, but he's the only one. The rest of them are, okay? And I don't know how to handle this. I have not talked to these close family members that I talk to pretty much every other day, very often. And there's a reason for that, because I don't know what to say. I know where the conversation is going to go. Over the last 5 or 6 months, I've avoided these conversations with my family because I know their position. And I found that especially the older family members have become more adamant, more, I hate to use this term again, but brainwashed by watching Fox News and Hannity every night. And as soon as I breach this conversation, I see the anger and the animosity in my family member's face. And I've just learned it's not a good idea. Unfortunately, my family members believe in this, and I don't see anything that's going to change it. So in order to keep the peace, I try not to bring up politics in the last 4 or 5 months. All right, but now it's the subject of the election is first and foremost in everybody's mind. When I see these family members again, which could be today, I know that as soon as we make eye contact and we start talking, it's going to be right there in both of our minds. The election, it's what everybody's talking about. It's what is in everybody's mind. I already know for sure that my family member is in a frenzy, knowing that Donald Trump is going to lose. I'm sure there are these people that are sure that it was a dishonest, the election was stolen, And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to deal with this. I'm going to talk to them soon. I'm almost grateful that more than likely there may not be a Thanksgiving and Christmas, at least not a traditional one, because I don't know how that would go. All right, so I'm kind of dreading this next week and these first meetings, these first sit down, these talks that I used to love. I look forward to. It's one of the most important things in my life, is sitting down and talking to my closest family member and confiding in my family. And I'm kind of dreading it right now. Do we ignore the elephant in the room? Do I ignore the elephant in the room? What if they bring it up, which they probably will? And how do they look at me? Do they look at me as somebody that's dishonest now? That I'm part of this election stealing, that I'm supporting this election stealing? Seriously, I'm going to say one other thing. I worry about the older family members. I pray to God that they are not considering donating any kind of money to the Trump legal cause or anything. That's starting to scare me and worry me. It's something that crossed my mind. And I pray to God that they are not considering donating money to this. All these things are the signs of a cult. It's like my family is part of a cult. And I'm worried that it's hard not to talk about it, because right now it's the elephant in the room. And as soon as we start talking about it, it's going to create a wedge. It's without a doubt. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but I've been very proud of this channel. Now that I've become a AdSense partner on here and everything, and I've told my family this, I consider it part of my recovery, as fulfilling one of my goals of my recovery. It's another check in the win box, of accomplishing things after my addiction. And they used to look at it that way too, but now I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The girl that I used to date, that I lived with for 3 years, daily tried to talk me out of doing away with this very channel. She used to tell me that it was pointless, that I was just complaining, that I was making a fool of myself on this channel. Obviously, she no longer lives here with me. But the very point I'm getting to, Donald Trump did not just disgrace and embarrass this country. He did not just divide this nation, but he's divided our families in a very real way. In a very real way that no other political figure, I can't think of one other political figure or president or anyone in our history that's caused, with the exception of possibly Nixon creating similar situations. But this is Donald Trump, and he's continuing to do it. As he flails and has these tantrums that he can't possibly lose, like a typical narcissist. He's just doing more and more damage and driving people farther apart. And not just both sides, but like I'm saying, the people that support him now see the people that don't as corrupt, as dishonest. I'm worried that the people that supported me all through my recovery for 14 years, that believed every day that I wasn't using, they had belief and trust in me. Do they still, or has Donald Trump tarnished that? Do they look at me as somebody who supports this corrupt democratic machine? Donald Trump has done far more and far worse than just divide our nation. He's divided our families. And I don't even know how to fix it right now. All right, you guys have a good Saturday. I'll be back with that video.